Ever wanted to feel so strong you could literally rush heroic countdown extraction? Just run right to the extraction zone, ignoring practically everything? Even hunter melees to an extent. You don't want to push that too far in this build, but you actually can shrug off occasional melee hits by hunters even as well. So push straight to countdown, leave your teammates in the dust, summon the helicopter with them angry behind you while they're just standing there looking at you, so just casually standing in the extraction zone. At most, there's always plenty of cover. You got Sawyer's Kneepads too, so you can't even be interrupted out of cover for the most part, so just find a good cover spot. Maybe just away from hunters, but even then, I mean, you can just, between that and Vanguard on your shield, like, you can just alternate and just stand there. Adrenaline Rush, Vanguard, Adrenaline Rush giving you bonus armor, and Vanguard giving you bonus armor and countdown. The only place that gives you armor too. So just stand there, summon the helicopter, and get off and leave everybody behind. Have you ever wanted to do that? I know I have, but I don't because I'm not a jerk. The only times I've actually done that on this build is if like half our team like disconnects and then like the other teammates are just we're getting down to the wire where it's like there's only like 10 seconds left or something like that. And my teammates are still like my teammates just can't keep up anymore. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Peace. I got to get out of here and get my resources at least. So that will be the only time I do that. Otherwise, as you'll see in the video, I of course don't do that. I play like you want to be, which is a support tank, which this is very good at. But hello, I made a change to this build before the last video. It's even better now. We got rid of the 2-piece Golan gear that we were using for 1.5% armor regen in favor of Bellstone for 1% armor regen. So we lost 0.5% of armor regen, which equates to 10,000 armor regen. However, we gained an improvised piece to get 12% more protection from elites. So we have even more elites, which is why countdown is even more just insanely easy. However, as you'll see, I tested this everywhere else, including where there's plenty of red and purple enemies around shooting you too, like legendary strongholds. If you compare it to my last video, you can tell it's noticeably better than that one everywhere in all content, basically. Because even though we took a slight hit on armor regen, the extra mitigation from elites just more than makes up the difference. Because even when there's red and purple enemies hitting us, usually there's still an elite mixed in with them hitting us, which means that we're mitigating their damage more. So we're mitigating the overall damage more. And when I did the math, 10,000 armor regen comes out to 7.5% less armor regen. So it's not a tiny amount, but it's definitely not game-changing and not that noticeable. And the extra 12% protection from elite makes it up, going from 58 to 70. Once you get to the 70s for protection from elites, you're practically invincible against them, even named in boss enemies and minigunners. We can revive minigunners. We can revive teammates with a minigunner shooting us in the back at point-blank range on Legendary if we wanted to. And with drone bomb people bombing us because of Sawyer's Kneepads negating them from interrupting us. Or interrupting our shield, which is why they also help. Sawyer's Kneepads really helps protect us too, and not just simply makes us immune to stagger. And then it lets us, if we need to use cover, just completely claim a cover spot and hunker down if we have to. I would only use that pretty much in legendary strongholds. So that's the change we did. Now we're not going to go, if you're wondering why we just don't drop the Bellstone and go all protection from elite, well, that wouldn't be worth as much. Instead of giving up a 0.5% of armor regen, we'd give a full percentage armor regen. That's 20,000 less armor regen, which gets more, the more you take off, the more it affects you too. That percent that I mentioned does. So that's one reason. The other reason is the cap at protection from elite mitigation is 80%. So we wouldn't even get the full 72, we'd only get 70. Plus, I mean, eventually in the long game, we'll get 13% protection from elites and go from 70 to 75, so there's really no point at all. So yeah, if you go back, this build's the same as the last one, but it's perfect. It is the best tank ever for countdown, frankly, as you'll see. But even besides that, it's awesome for legendary content, because thanks to Sawyer's Kneepads, we can reliably revive teammates like a good tank does. Thanks to Vanguard, we're buffing teammates. Thanks to Adrenaline Rush, combined with all our armor regen still, we're able to still rush hordes, soak up all the aggro, dive right in. Throwing incendiary grenades are so much more useful too than the technician ones too. So yeah, that's what it comes down to.
An agent is no longer.
Thanks to you, the locals will have heat and lights this winter. Thank you, Agent.
Agent down. Priority objective available.
Make you feel better.
Medical assistance needed.
objective. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Hostiles. Guarding location nearby.